Alright, so I just knocked out the King Ghidorah recording. So, we're gonna spin the wheel again, and we're gonna see what is quack-a-lackin'. Alright, so I got the wheel here. I took out King Ghidorah, because I just did that video recording. What is the bringer of destruction that we will talk about today? Well, that's rather fitting. I said in that last recording session that I was hoping it would pick Destoroyah, and it legitimately was like almost there. So I guess it would make sense, right? We knock out the Showa destroyer of Godzilla, and now we move on to the true demon of the franchise. Before we get into it, Destoroyah is in the version 0.01 demo. I played him a little bit, but to be honest, I was having so much fun with Gigan that I didn't really dabble in Destoroyah very much. I have a feeling part of that is that highlight video of Moist Critical going over the Nasty Soft tournaments of version 0.01, Destoroyah was far and away the best character in those tournaments and in those videos. So I imagine he's going to change in the first final demo. So I don't think I really want to invest too much time in playing him because I have a feeling Destoroyah is going to be radically changed going forward. But I mean, if King Ghidorah hits like a freight train, at least in that Nasty Soft tournament footage, Destoroyah is obviously the best character in that demo. He's S tier. Holy shit. I have played him a little bit in the demo, and his rage move, first off, it's an excellent reference. If it's not mentioned in the monster manual, I'll go over it. But it, like, completely levels, like, half of whatever city you're fighting in. The first time I used it, San Francisco bit the bullet, which, if I'm being 100% honest, was unfortunate because it wasn't reality. Anyway, to the monster manual. Before we go over it, the only monster in the top row that I haven't covered yet is Kiryu. By the time this video comes out, the only one I haven't gone over in the second row will be Mothra and Mothra Leo. And I'm leaving it up to the roulette wheel, so who knows how long that will last. The number of monsters dwindles each time, so it's only a matter of time. Anyway, Destoroyah. Cringe! Since around 542 million BCE, it's BC. Religious indignation aside, though. Oh, nice. The Alien Vortox Organizer G1 devices disrupted the Destoroyah organism's dormancy, causing them to resume their accelerated evolution path. Powerful to an unprecedented degree is definitely an accurate description based on what I've watched of the videos of competitive Save the Earth Melee. It is considered the single greatest threat to Earth as of its recent appearance. Showa King Ghidorah fans mauled. Co-seed.
You are coping and seething. You just can't accept what you're seeing.
Ah! So the entire council of the Vortok, which as we know from previous manuals I've gone over, consists of multiple existing ho-ho extraterrestrial species. I guess they're all kind of coming together in like a Marvel Ultimate Alliance kind of Avengers Assemble kind of deal to colonize the Earth. I like that. And obviously Destoroyah is going to oppose them because it's the perfect life form. Moveset. I appreciate the gif. Oh, I love that particle effect. I always love that move, and it was a shame not to see it in any of the competitive footage. I understand why, because it looks like it's rather slow, but I really like that particle effect on it. One of the largest. They upped his size and made him taller, thank God. He's a little bit more accurate to the movie now. He's an excessive super heavyweight who will pummel anything it sees into the ground with one hand. Pretty metal, not gonna lie. Destoroyah has unleashed idle animations, walk animations, and running animations. And yeah, a lot of the balancing and weapon functionalities in Destoroyah Monsters Melee proper have been added back into the game because from what I remember from the Goji Fan 93 interview with Goji Rex, stuff was changed about Destoroyah in Save the Earth for no other discernible reason other than to make him different from his Destroy All Monsters Melee counterpart, which is so sadly believable that I'm not surprised. And from what I remember, a lot of it had to do with like the energy costs for different moves. The Horn Katana is now unblockable. That's neat that they're upgrading the particle effect. Oh, BFK. Sorry, I had to look at my Xbox controller in my office drawer because I don't remember the Xbox layouts. So back square, the big effing kick. Okay, it has super armor. I was wondering what they were going to do with it because I was like, there's no way this move could be used in a competitive setting if it doesn't have super armor. So the Oxygen Destroyer is a new attack. It's the L2R2 move. The 2 triggers. Did I get the Xbox buttons right on that? I like the micro oxygen beam. I'm so glad they actually changed the beam weapon to be what it was like in Godzilla vs. Destoroyah. Destoroyah! It really wasn't a very fun move in Godzilla Save the Earth Vanilla. So thank you, dev team. That needed to happen. Like I said, a lot of the gameplay for Destoroyah was in those nasty soft competitive tournament videos on YouTube, which I highly recommend you watch. But it's nice to see that he's kind of getting visual touch-ups alongside a lot of those changes, because he was clearly more done because he was in the version 0.01 demo to begin with. Okay, skins. I honestly don't know what skins he could have aside from a few obvious ones. I imagine, taking all bets, before I look at it, he probably has the full gamut of skins already laid out. No, I was wrong. He's still got 3 missing. Thank you for at least including the Pipeworks coloration skin. So we'll have the upgraded fidelity of the new model, but with the color scheme of the classic Pipeworks model. Devil Man. I feel like that's based on some of the Godzilla vs. the Devil stuff, but it's just a recolor. It just is inspired by those things, at least it seems like, right? Okamoto. Don't know what that's a reference to, but it looks neat. World Eater. Recolor based on the Black Dragon Alduin. Someone please tell me what that's a reference to. Gold. Doesn't really look that good if I'm being honest, but whatever. Destoroyah! Double smash! That one looks kind of funny. Is it weird to say it looks kind of cute? And then Save the Earth Classic and Destroy All Monsters Melee Classic. I'm just glad they're including a lot of those classic models. Okay, now here comes the fun part, where I try to think of skins that you could give Destoroyah to fill up those last 3 spots. And, as I have done before now, I will go to Destoroyah's Wikizilla page. Love how my internet takes a shit right as I'm about to do this. Man, why does the Gigabash model look so much better than the PS3, PS4 model? Okay, that's 1. Okay. Finally found 3. I'm also going to have a topic after I talk about the skin. So my first serious quote-unquote suggestion is this little guy here. You know, I've never really looked at him with too much of a keen eye, but he's definitely of a darker complexion than the Destoroyah in the film. And so I could maybe see this color scheme be a recolor for Destoroyah. Obviously the model is exactly the same. The only reason it's different on the toy is just because he's small. But I could see this one being a skin. This one I feel like is likely. This one, like I said, I have another thing I want to bring up in a second after I'm done covering these skins. But I feel like this is a recolor that you could do for the final form of Destoroyah. This is concept art for Destoroyah. I believe this was technically for a monster called Barubaroi. But it's a blue skin for Destoroyah based on actual concept art for the character. I could see a final form Barubaroi skin being a skin for Destoroyah. Now, this last one, it's simultaneously a serious suggestion, but also not a serious suggestion. Until I looked up the Destoroyah Wikizilla page, I didn't even know this game existed. Wikizilla says that this is the sprite for Destoroyah in a game called Collect Godzilla Giant Monster Assembly. And obviously you wouldn't be able to adapt this wholesale, especially because it looks like it's missing key parts of the Destoroyah design. But I don't know, I feel like you could take inspiration from the admittedly very limited color palette of this sprite and make a Destoroyah skin slash recolor out of it. Just putting it out there. I saw it on Wikizilla. Blame the editors of the Destoroyah article. I am but an innocent victim.
You can't keep getting away with it!
Aggregate Destoroyah. And just before I get into it, this is the VHS cover for Godzilla vs. Destoroyah. And yes, I do still have my VHS tape of Godzilla vs. Destoroyah. Somehow the box has managed to survive all these years. Not all of my Godzilla VHS tapes survived. I don't know why though, I really like this VHS cover. But as you can see, it very much highlights the aggregate form of Destoroyah. Now obviously, this form of Destoroyah is not currently slated to be in the game. And of all the characters they could add, I imagine this is not high on the priority list. But I've always wondered if aggregate Destoroyah could be playable in some form. You could also reuse a lot of the sound effects and particle effects and stuff for the final form of Destoroyah in an aggregate Destoroyah, so it wouldn't be like you would be making a totally new character. But at the same time, I also recognize that this version of Destoroyah might not even be possible due to the animation and bone and model and rigging limitations currently in the game. Because after all, this is a mod. But I just wanted to bring it up because I've always kind of wanted to see this version of Destoroyah be playable. Yes, there's also a flying version of Destoroyah, and I mentioned flying Space Godzilla in a previous video, but flying Destoroyah, there isn't really a way to incorporate that without making a totally new model for the flight animation. And final form Destoroyah already flies anyway, which I guess you could say about Space Godzilla, yes, but that's beside the point. If we were going to go with any of the alternate forms for Destoroyah and considering them for playable status, I would be somewhat amused by this version's inclusion. It's not going to happen, but it's food for thought. Think of it outside a Save the Earth Melee context. It's kind of novel. Overall, I need to play more Destoroyah in the demo. This entire video was made without much playthrough of Destoroyah in the demo. Like I said though, that new rage attack is bananas. Absolutely love it. I believe the rage attack they gave him in Save the Earth Melee is a reference to one of the attacks that Destoroyah was supposed to have in the actual Godzilla vs. Destoroyah, and it got cut for some reason. I believe because it was going to kill the narrative tension of Godzilla's impending meltdown, which was more important for the story. But I appreciate its inclusion in Destoroyah's Save the Earth Melee moveset as his new rage move, and taking his old rage move and making that a part of his kit. The dev team's really knocking it out of the park with all these monsters. I don't want to sound like too much of a sucker for them, too much of a kiss ass, but I appreciate all the effort they're putting in. It really takes it out of you to do 2 Monster Manual recording sessions back to back. I hope you guys appreciate it. Someone's got to devote the time to going over these monster manuals in depth and give the monsters the reverence they deserve. Although, I guess Destoroyah is kind of the devil of kaiju, isn't he? Maybe I shouldn't do that for Destoroyah. I'd say a prayer in this video, but if I cut it off humorously, I imagine that would be sacrilegious. It's already bad enough. Destoroyah was in Godzilla in Hell. Anyway, leave a like if you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a comment in the comment section telling me what your thoughts are on Destoroyah in the version 0.01 demo, and just what your impressions are for where the character is going to be going in the first major release after that. That's all I've got for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.